Okay, we're getting ready to, in this video, to mount the prop and put on the spinner. Now, in terms of the spinner, you do have some choices of the brand and so forth. I prefer the True Turn aluminum spinners, and there are several kinds. This is the True Turn 2.5-inch spinner, and it's got a little slot there, 2-blade slot. But that's what it's called, a standard slot, okay? And then others, 2.5, there's another 2.5 here. You can see how much wider that slot is. That's the 120 slot, but it's just a wide slot. And then you also have here a 2 3/4 inch spinner. You can see that one's slightly bigger. And because it's slightly bigger, the slot is slightly larger. And so here's what you're going to find. If you take the 2.5 and you take like a 12.5, a 12.5 APC blade won't fit that standard slot. Okay. You take a 12.6 APC blade, and it won't fit that slot either. You can probably jam it down in there, but I don't feel like doing it. Okay. If you take a 12.6 E-Flight Evolution prop, the 12.6 prop fits in there quite nicely. Okay. The other strange thing is you take a 12.8 prop APC, and it fits in the 2.5 quite nicely. So you have to marry up what you're going to do. So the 2.5 won't use the 12.6, but will use the 12.8. Well, I'm going to still start with the 12.6. So what that's going to mean is I got a choice of either using the 2.5 wide slot, or if I switch to a 2 3/4 standard slot, the 12.6 fits in there quite nicely. So you got to make sure your spinner is going to fit the prop. So I'm going to use a 2 3/4 inch standard spinner. And first off, I don't use plastic spinners unless it's absolutely necessary, and usually it isn't. There's always good aluminum spinners, because the plastic one will score when you're using a electric starter. So I'm going to use the 12.6 with a 2 3/4 inch spinner, standard spinner. Don't mix up these things because they're all different sizes. This is for the 2 3/4. This one here is for the 2.5. So don't mix those up. And then you also need the adapter plate. Now the adapter plate in here has an aluminum ring that's absolutely necessary. And this prop nut, the washer is for a large washer, and I don't use that. I use the washer that came with it. So I won't use this one. I won't use the 12.8 until I decide it's necessary. And the 12.8, obviously, I'll show you. The 12.8 fits in this one just as well. So I won't have to change spinners if I go up on size from the 12.6 to the 12.7 or 12.8. So what do you got to do? You take off the nut that came with the airplane, put it aside because you're not going to use it. Okay. You take this washer, okay, and you are going to use that. Now, as I said, in the adapter kit, you're going to use just two things out of it: the aluminum ring and the prop nut. So the purpose of the aluminum ring is because this aluminum is made for a larger diameter shaft here. And so it's a good slip fit, very nice slip fit into the spinner, and you put the spinner plate all the way back to the what's called a thrust washer, and then you put the prop on. Okay. Then you put the washer that came with it, which has the 1/4 inch diameter hole in it. Okay. And then you go ahead and tighten this down. Okay. So now, certainly not tight enough. So what you need, if I remember correctly, I'll see if I'm right or not. Oh, I moved it. Sorry. Kick the camera. Okay. Yes. Okay. So you take your 1/2 inch box wrench and tighten this down. Now, this blade is extremely tight. Okay. So let me show you what I use when I tighten blades. Okay. I take a welder's glove, the left hand of a nice, strong welder's glove, and hold the prop. This thing has cut me more than once. Just nicks, by the way, not lost any fingers yet. But this allows you to hold it with the welder's glove and tighten it down. Now, you don't want to get it so tight that you're starting to ruin the threads, but you want it good and tight. And that's good and tight. Okay. And then I'm going to leave the glove on, put this on, and you have to sort of rotate it on. And then it's going to be a little loose, so I try to center it in the opening, center the blade in the opening. And then you tighten this up. And this nut is 4 millimeters. Okay, or this long bolt, I mean, is 4 millimeters. So let me grab my 4 millimeter center wrenches, or metric center wrenches, and grab the 4 millimeter out of it. And okay, now that that's just sort of finger tight, I put my glove back on. Okay. And so the 4 millimeter hex wrench tightens down the blade, and that's all there is to it. Be careful of these things, they are extremely sharp. But they're very effective. If you compare a wooden blade, I've done comparisons between these kind of plastic blades from Evolution, which are pretty good, but I think these are just slightly better. They're almost identical in shape, but not exactly. Obviously, because one fits the 2.5 standard, but not the other. So their shape is not exactly the same. So that's it, and hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned to the next one.